Still ahead, 2 months of right-wing conspiracies are debunked in a single court hearing. The new details of the brutal attack on Paul Pelosi next. A month and a half ago, a brutal home invasion took place at the San Francisco home of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, third in line of the presidency. Nancy Pelosi was not there, but her 82-year-old husband, Paul Pelosi, was there, and he was violently beaten with a hammer by the attacker who shouted, "Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy?" during the assault. But almost immediately, some really sickening lies were spun up about the incident. And Paul Pelosi was mocked and vilified by figures on the right like Donald Trump Jr., Tucker Carlson, Ted Cruz, Elon Musk, not to mention the numerous elected Republican officials who served with Nancy Pelosi. Musk, who had just recently purchased Twitter, posted a response to Hillary Clinton pushing this insane homophobic lie about the attack. And that tweet, along with false media reports from lying, unnamed sources, gave some kind of imaginary pass to Republican politicians and people in right-wing media to just run wild with all manner of shameless rumor mongering, hiding behind the old just asking questions thing.
How did this homeless drug addict even get inside the house? Now, there was glass broken at the rear door. We've seen those photos, but there looks like there's glass on both sides.
It's weird things going on in that household in the last couple of weeks. The glass, it seems, was broken from the inside to the out. And, you know, so it wasn't a break-in, it was a breakout.
Paul Pelosi walked away from the police and toward David Depape? What could possibly explain behavior like that? And what were the two doing for the 30 minutes before police arrived? The police, for some reason, have refused to release that body cam footage. We get body cam footage every day in the news business, but they won't release this. What is going on here? Why are they hiding this? Is there a good reason? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Why would they not want to release the body cam footage of an 82-year-old man inside his home being brutally assaulted with a hammer? Huh. Yesterday, body cam footage from the responding police officer was played in court. And you'll never guess what it showed. It was what all of us, including Tucker Carlson, have always known it was. A brutal and horrific attack on an innocent 82-year-old man. The suspect, charged with attempted murder, faced a hearing in which officers described the scene, showing the hammer used to crush in the elderly man's skull. The New York Times reported on the body cam video from the courtroom, quote, "It was as quick as it was brutal, captured in just a few seconds of grainy video from a police body camera. Two officers find an intruder and Paul Pelosi standing calmly, each with a hand on a hammer. The police demand they drop. Just then, the video shows the intruder takes control, wheels the weapon over his head, and slams it with full force." Joining me now is someone who was in the courtroom when this new footage was played, Annie Weinstein. She's a reporter for the San Francisco Chronicle. It's great to have you. Annie, what was the occasion of this hearing in which this was played for the first time?
So this was the first day of the preliminary hearing for the state case against David Depape. So he's also being prosecuted federally, but this was the first day, which actually was the last day for his preliminary hearing in court.
Do you think the context of the lies that have swirled around, really, really off-the-wall stuff that gained tremendous amounts of mainstream currency, factored into how the state is presenting the case or what the police wanted to show the court?
I think it's certainly possible. I also think that at the same time, there's really a mountain of evidence that the prosecution has, in its hands that they presented to the court. I mean, just yesterday in the preliminary hearing, a whole courtroom packed with reporters got to hear the entire 911 call, body cam from SFPD, walking up to the Pelosi residence and witnessing the attack. We saw Capitol surveillance camera footage, as well as 15 minutes of an hour-long taped, essentially, confession that Depape made to Sergeant Carla Hurley while he was in the hospital the next day, just hours after the attack.
Let's talk about Depape and that tape. I mean, one of the things basically that happened, I think, just in the broader context of this was the news came across. I think many people intuited immediately this probably had some political motivation. This is the house of the Speaker of the House. It then came out that he was looking for Nancy Pelosi, and then there was this desperate effort to sort of spin it away by some that it couldn't be a political motive or that he wasn't doing it because he had right-wing views. It seems by his own admission that he was on a kind of personal mission of violence against people that he viewed as political enemies who were liberals.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he readily admitted to the disgust that he felt toward, an array of, leftist politicians, Democratic politicians in D.C. And in fact, even in the recording, he appeared to be very emotional and in some cases pretty angry when he was describing Pelosi, Trump, and, he mentioned other people on the list that he had plans to target in some way.
The list, as I see, has been reported, included Hunter Biden, of course, Joe Biden's son, the actor Tom Hanks, the California governor Gavin Newsom. And this really struck out to me, and this is quite interesting and somewhat random, a feminist anthropologist named Gail Rubin. Now, that is not a household name in the way that, say, Tom Hanks or Hunter Biden might be, but that's a gender theorist who's written about queer theory. She's written about, I think, drag shows, and has been identified in a very specific part of the right-wing media, my understanding, as like the theorist behind gender transgression.
Yeah, I think that name on the list stood out to me too. I mean, I think it took a lot of the people in the courtroom by surprise. It's, Gail Rubin isn't a name you would expect to hear in this laundry list of people that Depape mentioned. It's unclear exactly what issues he had with the professor, but he had at one point told investigators that he was targeting a radical professor. So it's possible that this was the person he was speaking about.
He is in custody, I imagine. What is the timeline that we anticipate for the actual prosecution here?
Yeah, he is in custody. He's being held. He's being held without bail. There's a little bit of a parallel timeline going on with the state's case against him and the federal case against him. So his next appearance in court will be on December 28th. That will be for his arraignment for the state charges against him. And those charges include attempted murder, elder abuse, false imprisonment, assault with a deadly weapon, as well as, the specific count that relates to the Pelosi family, which was threatening the life of or causing serious bodily harm to a public official. On the federal side, the prosecution has asked for more time, so they'll probably be back in court in February. And he's already pleaded not guilty to charges of attempted kidnapping and assault.
All right. Annie Weinstein doing some great reporting with the San Francisco Chronicle, and thank you for making some time for us. I really appreciate it.